Hey everyone, it's Erin. Welcome to Friday evening Yin Flo. Um, I'm testing out a new microphone with this video today, so I'm hoping that it makes the sound quality better. I know the videos I've been making, you have to really crank up the volume to hear my voice, so I'm hoping that this will help with that. So fingers crossed it goes well. Um, we will begin today with that on our backs. So coming to a supine position. And to begin, we can just spread out, take up a little space on our mat. Arms can come out wide, legs can separate, maybe feet falling off the mat. And just taking a moment to take a few deep breaths before we start moving. Gently closing the eyes. Feeling the weight of your body sinking into the ground beneath you. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Belly rises, then ribs, then chest. And then open the mouth, we'll exhale, letting out all the air. Inhale through the nose, filling belly, ribs, and chest. Collarbone lifts away from the floor. Open the mouth, exhale, sigh it out. One more like that. We'll inhale through the nose. Drawing the deepest, fullest breath you've taken today. And then exhale fully out the mouth. Releasing the jaw. Relaxing the muscles of the forehead. The muscles around the shoulders and neck. On your next inhale, we'll take a long body stretch, reaching arms up overhead. Legs reach out long. And then exhale to hug both knees in towards the chest, wrapping arms around shins. Eyes can gently blink open. And then let's just take some gentle rocks back and forth, massaging out the lower back. And separate out knees here. Pulling knees in towards armpits. And then we'll let that rocking slow down. Find ourselves back at center, and we'll release the left leg out long, keeping right knee hugged in. Both hands wrapping around shin. And give that like a nice squeeze, really pulling the thigh and shin in towards your body. Letting it open out towards the right shoulder a little bit. Inhale here. And then exhale, we'll draw that left knee over to the right, coming into a supine twist. The right arm can come out to a T. Choosing the direction of your gaze. Keeping both shoulders connected to the ground. Next inhale, we'll move back through center. And then wrapping fingers or hands around the back of the thigh, we'll start to bend and straighten that right leg up towards the ceiling. Easing into opening up the hamstring. Next time that leg is straight up towards the ceiling, we'll point and flex the foot. Take some circles with the ankle in one direction, and then the other. And then we'll let that go, releasing the right leg out long, and we'll hug the left knee in towards the chest, wrapping interlaced fingers around left shin, hugging that thigh in close to the body, and letting the knee open out towards left shoulder. Inhale to create compression in the hip joint. And then exhale to draw left knee over to the right, coming into a twist. Once again, choosing the direction of your gaze and the depth of your twist. But making sure to keep shoulders connected to the earth. Noticing the opening through the shoulder and chest as you reach out with left fingertips. One more full breath here. And we'll inhale to move back through center. And then wrapping fingertips around the back of left thigh, we'll start to bend and straighten through left knee. Bending that foot up towards the sky. And next time you straighten that left leg, you'll start to point and flex left foot. Roll the ankle in one direction, and then the other. Inhale to reach, and then exhale to release. We'll bend both knees, bringing them in close to the body. And then the hands will find the outside or inner arch of both feet, and we'll come into happy baby. Keeping a bend in the knees, pulling the legs in towards the body. Again, feeling that compression in the hip joints. You can rock from side to side. You straighten one leg and then the other. One more inhale. And we'll exhale to pull knees in together and release feet down to the floor. From here, we'll just roll off to one side and then gently press ourselves up into a seated position. Finding a comfortable cross-legged seat. We'll interlace fingers again, and this time we're going to press palms away from us. I'm starting with hands down near our crossed legs. We'll inhale to lift, arms up overhead, keeping shoulders dropped away from the ears, and exhale to lower. Inhale to press See those interlaced fingers, palms energetically moving away from the body. Next step to bring them back down. And continuing with this at your own pace. Keeping shoulders dropped away from the ears as you lift those arms overhead. Feeling just a slight rounding in the upper back as you drop them down towards the floor. Next time you bring arms up overhead, on your next exhale, we will drop over to the right. Inhale to center and over to the left. Inhale to center, to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Do 2 more rounds of these side opening stretches. Taking it at your own pace. And then exhale, release that. You can shake out the wrists a little bit. And then we'll uncross our legs and rock back onto our feet. We start with knees bent, soles of the feet planted on the floor. Hands can support us behind our thighs here to begin. I'm going to gently lean back, keeping the spine straight until our arms have straightened as far as they can go. Option to stay right here. Otherwise, you can lift arms parallel to the floor. Option to lift feet. And if you've lifted feet, we'll squeeze legs together for boat pose. Breathing here, finding that point of balance. And then hands can come back behind thighs, feet can release to the floor. We'll take 1 more round of that. Bring hands behind thighs, leaning back, nice long spine. Again, option to bring arms out, option to lift feet. Squeezing thighs together. This time, if you want to straighten through knees, you can take that variation. 2 more full breaths. And we're building some heat early on here. And exhale to release. We'll rock forward onto hands and knees. Coming into tabletop. And let's just move through some organic cat-cows. So letting your own breath guide the pace of the movement. Letting your body guide how you move here. Just when it feels good. And we'll meet back in neutral tabletop, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Finding a nice strong foundation, so fingertips spread wide, tops of the feet pressing into the floor. We're going to inhale to reach right fingertips forward, right toes back, creating a nice long line through the whole body here. Feeling the engagement through the whole back of the body. The balance and shifting of the weight between that left shin and right hand. Next exhale, we'll draw knee and elbow together, curling. Inhale to reach out long. Exhale to curl. Inhale to reach. Exhale to curl. Inhale to reach long. And exhale to release hand and foot to the ground. We'll inhale to move to the other side, left toes out, right fingertips forward. We'll start just by finding that balance and finding our foundation through left palm of the hand and the right shin. And again, really pressing that right palm fully into the ground, fingertips spreading wide, pressing top of the left foot. Inhale here. And we'll exhale to curl, knee and elbow in towards center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to curl. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to curl. Last inhale to lengthen. And then exhale to release both hand and foot. Back to tabletop. One inhale here. And then exhale, we'll separate knees out wide on the mat, toes come together to touch. And send hips back to heels for child's pose. Child's pose is a great resting pose, which you're always welcome to come back to at any point throughout class. It's also a great hip opening pose, so we're going to stay here for just a moment, letting the lower back release. Letting the hips sink towards the ground. Letting the heart drop. And next inhale, we'll lift up to tabletop. Exhale to tuck toes and send hips up and back into downward facing dog. And taking some movement to settle into our downward facing dog shape for the first time in class today. Pedaling out feet, bending and straightening knees. Maybe moving back and forth between plank and down dog. That's what I like to do. And eventually finding stillness. You're tilting the pelvis so that you're reaching hip bones up and back, letting the heart fall between the shoulders. Letting heels gently melt towards the ground. Next inhale, we'll shift towards the top of the mat. And exhale to step feet up to meet hands, holding over bent legs. And hanging out here for a second, swaying back and forth. We'll take opposite hand to opposite elbow, finding a ragdoll. Feeling the head just hang heavy, heavy, shaking it yes and no. Switching the grip on your hands. And then we'll release any grip you've taken on the arms. Inhale to lift halfway, fingertips to the shins or thighs. Exhale to inhale, circle arms up overhead, coming up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. Asana, mountain pose. Feeling all three corners of the feet connecting to the ground. In our Tadasana, the big toe mound, outer edge of the pinky toe, and the heel. Let's just gently shift back and forth here a little bit, side to side, just feeling all those points on the feet before settling into a position where we're distributing our weight equally across all those corners of both feet. All right. Next, we'll interlace our fingers once again, and then pressing palms away from us. We'll inhale to lift arms up overhead, just like the beginning of class. And then exhale to tip over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to release those interlaced hands and fold over legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to plant hands and step feet back into plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. Belly comes to the floor. Inhale to lift shoulders, lift chest, little to no even the hands, baby cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Two breaths here. Inhale, gaze comes to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet step to meet hands, folding over legs. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms circle up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Next inhale, we'll take those interlaced fingers, palms press away from the body. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale to tip over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to release, folding over legs. Arms circle down to the ground. Inhale, halfway left, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale to plant hands, step feet back to plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra, opening through the collarbone. Exhale, downward facing dog. One full breath in downward facing dog. Take a moment to reset before we move on. Next, inhale, right toes will reach up towards the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Bring right foot to plant in between hands. And drop the back knee to come into a low lunge. In our low lunge, we'll inhale to sink hips forward, lift gaze, lift chest. Exhale to straighten right knee, sitting back towards left heel, coming into a half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale to sink back. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, half splits. We'll stay here, folding over, straightening right leg, toes flexed back towards the body. You can keep a gentle bend in that right knee if you need to. Rounding the spine over the front leg. And have to come back forward, do low lunge. And then we'll walk that right foot out to the outer edge of the mat, bringing both hands to the inside of our right foot. Tuck our back toes under, and then step that left foot forward to the outer edge of the mat, coming into a yogi squat. So taking hips nice and low, toes point out, heels point in. Hands will come to heart center, using our elbows to press into the knees, creating some tension there. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Keeping chest lifted and shoulders open. Easy to round the upper back in this shape, so keeping that spine nice and long. And then we'll exhale to release both palms back to the mat, and we'll sit back in different pose. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full round of breath in down dog. And then we'll inhale, right toes up, left toes up, this time towards the sky. And then exhale to hug that knee into the chest, stepping left foot in between hands and dropping the back knee to come into a low lunge. And we'll inhale to sink hips forward, once again, lifting chest, maybe lifting gaze. And then exhale to walk back into half splits, straightening left knee. Inhale to sink into the lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale to move forward, keeping shoulders open. Exhale back. Last inhale to come forward, opening front of the right hip. And then exhale to half splits, and we'll hold here for a few breaths, flexing those left toes towards the body. And gently rounding over left leg. Next inhale, we'll come back forward into our low lunge, and then walk the left foot out to the outer edge of the mat, both hands inside left foot, tuck right toes under so that you can step right foot forward to meet the left and sink into your yogi squat once again. And this time, the option to stay here at center, or if you want, you can open arms out one at a time. So right arm can reach up towards the sky, left fingertips reach to the floor. Maybe you take a bind, wrapping top arm behind the body, clasping hands together around bent leg. And then releasing that side. Moving back through center and then taking right arm up, or left arm up, right arm down. An option to move into the bind. This side might be the same as the first one, it might not be. Maybe you stay with open arms, maybe you just stay at center. Whatever works for you today. We'll inhale to come back to center. Exit prayer position. And then we'll exhale to plant both palms on the ground, and we'll release into a forward fold this time. So sending hips up towards the sky. Keeping knees nice and bent here. We're going to lift up our toes so that we can slide hands underneath the feet. So palms of the hands connect to soles of the feet for gorilla pose. Giving your hands a little massage with the ball mounds of the feet. Bending with the elbows and letting the head hang heavy. And release hands from underneath feet. Inhale to lift halfway. And then exhale to plant both palms of the hands on the mat. Bending knees as much as you need to in order to do that. It might mean sinking your hips down pretty low. That's completely fine. We're going to move into crow pose. So palms of the hands can be pretty close into the feet here. Bending elbows back towards the body. I like to kind of get this connection between shins and upper arms before I start to move forward, coming onto tiptoes, getting knees as high up into the shoulder socket as you can. Maybe you just start to play with bringing your weight forward into the palms of the hands, rocking back and forth here. That's a great place to start. That's feeling pretty good to you. You can start to bring weight all the way into the palms of your hands and maybe lift one toe and the other. Take a little bit of time to play around, coming in and out of whatever version of this balance pose works for you today. Thinking about really pressing the earth away with the palms of your hands and getting a lift through the hips. Squeezing knees in together. And release all of that when you're ready, coming back into a forward fold, letting the head and neck release. We'll come back into that gorilla pose again. Kind of taking a counter stretch with the wrists. For a couple of breaths. And then releasing hands from underneath feet. We'll inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to plant hands, step feet back and lower all the way onto the belly. From here, we'll interlace hands at the base of the spine. And zip legs up so that big toes come to touch, knees come to touch. Hugging legs in together. Next inhale, we'll reach through those interlaced fingers towards the feet to lift chest and lift shoulders. engaging the whole back of the body here. 2 more full breaths. Lift chest, open collarbone, open throat. And then exhale to release, letting one cheek fall to the mat. Letting arms fall alongside your body. And then we'll move chin back to center. And set up for one more round. Interlacing fingers behind the lower back once again. Zipping up the legs. Inhale to lift shoulders, lift chest, pull through interlaced fingers. Keeping the back of the neck long here, so gaze can lift slightly, but not cranking the neck all the way back towards the ceiling. One more full breath. And then exhale to release. Other cheek to the mat. Arms come alongside you once again. Then we'll move hands to plant underneath shoulders. Inhaling to press through tabletop. And then exhaling back to child's pose. Finding that sense of grounding, forehead connecting to the earth. Belly falling in between thighs. Inhale to lift. And then exhale to cross at the ankles and sit back onto our sits bones. Finding that cross-legged seat once again. We'll move into fire log pose. So a stack right shin on top of left, uncrossing the legs, creating a stacked logs, fire log pose with the shins here. Finding a nice long spine, finding sits bones connected to the earth. Inhale to lift through the crown of the head. And you can stay right here if this is enough of a hip opener for you. Otherwise, if you want to get a little more intensity, you can start to hinge forward on an exhale, walking hands out in front of you, folding over bent legs. Next inhale, if you folded forward, we'll slowly walk hands back towards the body, coming to sit tall. And then exhale to release legs out long, just shaking that out a little bit before moving to the other side. So stacking left shin over right. Flexing both feet just to protect the knee joint here. Forgot to mention that on the first side. And then once again, finding a tall spine and deciding whether you want to stay right here in an upright seat or exhale to start folding forward to deepen the stretch in that. Well, in both outer hips, especially the top leg. Inhale, we'll start to slowly walk hands back towards the body if you've taken a fold. And then exhale to release both legs out long. Shaking off the hips. Or draw, keeping left leg long, we'll draw right knee in towards the body, and then let that right knee fall out to the side, connecting right sole of the foot to left thigh. And inhale, reaching arms up overhead, and then exhale to fold over left leg. And keep a little bit of a bend in that left knee. Left toes flex back towards the body. And letting the spine just be rounded here so crown of the head can reach towards the floor. Inhale to walk hands back in towards the body. And exhale, we'll switch out our legs. Left leg comes in, right leg comes long. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale to fold over right leg. Any bend in the knee that you need is totally fine, so that you can release the spine. And let the crown of the head fall towards the floor. And inhale to walk, hands back in towards the body. And then exhale to slowly make our way onto our backs. Just taking one last shape before we move into Shavasana. We'll bring soles of the feet together to touch, knees fall out wide. Your Supta Baddha Konasana. Any option with the arms, and let them come long alongside you, or hands can rest on the body, or you can bring arms up overhead to open up the shoulders. You can stay in Supta Baddha Konasana as long as you would like. Whenever you feel ready to move into Shavasana, start to release legs out long on the mat. And the arms come out as wide as you need, taking up any amount of space. That will allow you to find rest. And let the body just soak in the effects of your practice. As you're ready to move on with your day, start to bring awareness back to your breath. And deepening it back into the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, belly, falling back towards the earth. Starting to wiggle fingers and toes, rolling out wrists and ankles, letting that movement travel up into knees and elbows, gently rocking head side to side. And then on an inhale, taking a long body stretch, reaching arms up overhead, fingertips reaching out long, toes reaching out long. And then exhaling to hug knees into chest and rolling over to one side. Letting your head rest on your bent arm. And taking a few breaths here before slowly pressing yourself back up into a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed. And bring hands to heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude for yourself, for taking some time out of your day for your yoga practice, and the circumstances in your life that allow you to do this. And gratitude for anyone else who may have joined you on their mats tonight from their own spaces. And gently blink eyes open. And then exhale. Release hands to shins. Thanks, everyone. Glad you were able to join me for class tonight, and I hope to see you back again next week. All right. Have a great weekend.